Hey everyone, this is going to be a tutorial for a design based off of Bulbarad 13's fishing rod teleporter, but instead of teleporting you back to it with a fishing rod, the fishing rod is going to teleport wolves to your location. This can be used in a single player world or in a multiplayer server. It uses Ilmango's chunk loader, as does Bulbarad's design, and links to both of those things will of course be in the description. And this is just a diagram that'll hopefully help you understand what we're going to be building while you're seeing me build it. And this is a diagram that'll hopefully help you understand what we're going to be building before you see me building it, so you can follow along a little bit better. We're going to be starting with this breeding area here, where we will collect all the wolves and breed them together. And we're going to basically spleef the floor out from under them, and they're going to be pushed by water into this chamber where they will be ready to teleport. If you're going to be building your own design of this, some things to keep in mind is that the chamber where the wolves are stored has to be in this 3x3 chunk area centered around the chunk that the chunk loader is built in. And the pressure plate that is going to hold the fishing bobber needs to be in this ring that is 2 chunks away from the chunk loader. These things are very important because if the wolves are outside of this ring, they're not going to be loaded properly. And if you put the pressure plate within this inner lighter area, the game is going to know that the bobber is too far away and the line is just going to break. Something to keep in mind if you're building this on a multiplayer server is that if any player loads this chunk with the pressure plate on it, the wolves are going to teleport to you, and so ideally you want to build this somewhere away from where players are. Another thing that's important is that you cannot build this within the spawn chunks. And if you don't know what the spawn chunks are, basically you just need to be at least 200 blocks away from the world spawn to build this. You can find the world spawn with a compass if you don't know where it is. Getting started with the build, we're going to first start by going 12 blocks down. You don't have to build this underground, but I find it a lot easier to do so. And we need to go at least 12 blocks down because that will make sure that the wolves teleport to the area we're going to make for them down here. Now come down here and we're going to build a couple blocks in, and then we're going to build an area that is 4 blocks deep, and then you can build it as far as you want to the sides, and honestly you can make it whatever dimensions you want, but I just say 4 blocks deep because that's going to make it the easiest for us to spleef the wolves later. Now we're going to want to dig 3 blocks down in the entire room. Once you've done that, break a 2 block tall stripe along the edge right here, and then dig a 2 block moat right on this block here. You could put water down here 1 block over and dig a little bit more so that it flows all the way to this end, and then dig a couple more blocks in until you get to the edge of the water there. Now just put a bunch of signs on these blocks here. Then on this back wall here, break 1 block in and fill the entire stripe with water. And it should flow into the signs right there, and this is where the wolves are going to flow. Now take a block that you can insta-mine and fill up this layer here. You don't have to be able to insta-mine it, but it'll just go a bit slower. Now come over here to our entrance, and we're going to make sure that we can get in and out, but the wolves cannot. So for that we can use a fence and a carpet. And speaking of carpet, we're going to want to carpet up all the surfaces. You can break these blocks above it to get out a little bit easier. We want to carpet up all the surfaces that we do not want the wolves to teleport to. So that includes all the ones down here, and then under the ladders as well. And now we are done with this room. Next, come over here, we can break this, and we want to build the room that the wolves are going to end up in. So go 2 blocks down from the water stream, and we're going to make a 2 block wide area. Again, you can make this as long as you want, but I'm only going to do 4 blocks. It's going to be a 2x4 area like this. Now you can start breaking out some of these blocks here. This is where we're going to put our pistons that are going to squish the wolves, which will give them half a heart of suffocation damage, and that's what's going to make them stand up and teleport to us. I use sticky pistons in this design. I imagine you could use normal pistons and just put them 1 block closer, but I didn't test it. I struggled a lot here with the pistons for some reason, but you want it so that they're going to push their block into that 2 wide area that you just made, just like this. Over here on this side, you can put some glass. I would recommend it so that you can see the wolves and see that it's working. You can start breaking out these blocks back here. This is where we're going to run the redstone line that'll activate the pistons. You want it running along the block that's behind the pistons like this. Now you want to make sure this is sealed off so the wolves aren't climbing around in the redstone. I actually messed this up. You want the redstone to curve around so you can put this wall right here. More glass is good. Over here you want to mine out some more room because we're going to put a circuit right here. For this circuit, I came up with this myself, so it's probably not the most efficient way to do it. Start by placing the observer facing this way with a repeater coming off the end of it. Click it once and hook it up to the redstone, and that's it. If you hooked up the piston redstone right, every time you update this observer, it should fire the pistons one time like that. Now place the redstone lamp in front of the observer. Whatever block you like to use for your redstone, I usually use regular wool. Torch on that side of the block. Repeater, you don't need a target block there, just be a normal wool. Repeater facing into here and click it all the way back. And then put 3 redstone dust like that. Now over here for me is the edge of the chunk. For you, it might be further this way, so you want to go until you find that chunk border. F3 and G shows the borders. And right here is where we're going to put our pressure plate. You could put it further into that chunk if you wanted to, but closer is more convenient. But you want to connect the pressure plate up to this back of the redstone here. And if everything is hooked up properly, when you step on this pressure plate, nothing should happen, and when you get off it, the pistons should fire once like that. Come back to this repeater here and change it to 1 tick, because I'm stupid. Just the default, not like how I have it there, because it'll go faster and potentially do less suffocation damage to the wolves. I don't think it matters, but might as well have it faster. Here's the point in the recording. Right now this step is very important. You can put some flower pots, some paintings, anything in here. You need to keep the wolves entertained while they're waiting, or they will log out of the game and it won't work. Obviously I completely made that up, but I like to do it anyway. Another option is that you can put dispensers in the ceiling right here. Just make sure it's in the middle so it hits all the wolves with splash potions. You can do strength or fire resistance or regeneration, whatever you want. You just want to build... Don't do that. You want to come over here and build a redstone line. What is he doing? A staircase? He's building a staircase so he can get to it. Because he's in creative mode, but he's pretending like he's in survival mode. But you want to get up here on top of the dispensers. You could put hoppers and chests, you don't need to, but if you want to have a lot of uses charged up, you can fill these with... I used fire resistance and I used strength 2. And then those torches are right, but they need target blocks behind them. And then torches on this side to power the dispensers. You don't want to put the potions in yet, because that would be stupid. Now you want to come over here and grab this redstone signal from the back here, directly from the pressure plate. You don't want to bring it from up here at the pistons, because we want to make sure that the potions fire before the pistons fire. So go ahead and make a nice little path up here to the target blocks, and because they're target blocks, the redstone will just lock right on, and that's that. And now if you step on the pressure plate, nothing should happen, but when you let go, the potion should fire, and then the piston should go right after. Make sure you seal this back up, we don't want any strungly scragglers. And now come back here, and we want to run a line from... He's put torches. We want to run a line this way until we get to the next chunk. So there's this chunk that the pressure plate is in, there's this middle chunk that everything else is in, and we want to go one more to this chunk right here. And this is where we're going to build the chunk loader that Ilmango designed. So, you want to make another portal that is 1 block down, not like this, 1 more block down than that. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's more convenient space-wise if you put it 1 block down, because we need to build our minecart rail that we're going to make. It needs to go into the top block of the portal, like this. We're going to put it into the top left. It doesn't really matter what sides, as long as you remember what side it's coming out of on the other side. So put a powered rail right there, and then a dispenser right there, detector rail, normal rail up there. It should look like that. I'm talking about the corner. I already said that. And now we're going to watch as I proceed to build this wrong. You want a lava, but you're not going to put it right here where I put it. You're going to put it one block further back than that. I'll realize in a couple seconds. Yes, torch under here so that the detector rail powers that block, and it's gonna, oh, and yeah, make sure you power that. And so, like I was saying, back here, you want to put a hopper leading into this dispenser, another rail on top, and then this is where you put the lava. Going into the nether portal, we're basically going to build the same thing on the other side like this. You could build it right here down in the nether, but I like to do it on the nether ceiling. There's less of a chance of a mob wandering into it. This is obviously easy for me in creative, but if you have access to your nether ceiling in the survival world, it's not that hard either. So with our portal up here, we can see that we're facing north. That's the direction the minecart was going, and it was this block right here. So on the other side, where the minecart's coming through, we want to build the exact same thing. So detector rail, or powered rail, dispenser with a hopper, lava's in this block over here, 2 normal rails on top, and then the detector rail right here, and then make sure you add that redstone torch that powers the dispenser from the detector rail. While we're up here, you can go ahead and build another nether portal a ways away. You just want to make sure that you're going to teleport out of overworld render distance of the spot where you have the wolves, so this is more than enough. If you're on a multiplayer server and you already use the nether roof, you could just fly back to your home portal or server hub or wherever. But for here, I'm going to be just building away, for example. Let's go through here. Yeah, so that's interesting. Just pop through this portal, and yes, this looks like a normal area to test this. If you've got all that, you can pop back through the portal and grab a minecart and put it on this slanted one right here, because that'll just send it through. And if you did it right, it should come right back, and that is now a functional chunk loader. Now obviously, as we're keeping extra chunks loaded, it's going to use up a little bit of server memory, so to mitigate that, we're going to turn off the chunk loader when we're not using the machine. So we'll do that by powering this block right here that the torch is on, and you want it to be a negative signal from the pressure plate, because we want it to be off while the pressure plate is not being powered. So we can run a redstone torch over here like this, and that will turn the chunk loader off, and it will turn it back on when we press the pressure plate, which is where we're putting our fishing bobber. Now this is too long, so you're going to want a repeater. There you go. Now to test it, you can just toss an item onto that pressure plate, and you'll see that the chunk loader starts working again. Now, if you already put potions in the dispensers like an idiot, you probably don't want to do that. And with that, all of the contraption work is done, and for convenience, you probably just want to dig a tunnel back from this area to the ladder where we started. So I'll get that. And with that, you want to just go ahead and go grab your wolves. Oh, and fix this block over here if you took the same path as me. Once you got your wolves, you can just hop down this hole here, and they should all teleport to the dirt down here because we built it 12 blocks down. And once you got your wolves down here, you can breed more, do whatever. You just want to make sure that all your wolves are sitting down before you send them into the tunnel, all of them. Satisfied with how many wolves you have, just head on down here and squeeze them all. They're going to flow down in the water and into that tunnel you made. Pop on down here, and here they are. This amount of wolves is probably about good for the area I have here. If you go any higher, they're going to start entity cramming and they're going to stand up. It's going to be not fun. Go ahead and grab a fishing rod. I named mine Dog, so I remember what it is. And go ahead and just cast it onto the pressure plate here. And once you've done that, you want to make sure you keep it in your hand and pop on through the nether portal right here. Once you're through the portal, you can take the rod out of your hand, put it in your inventory, it doesn't matter. One thing to note though is that any fishing rod that you cast will trigger the mechanism, so it's not just that rod. Once you come out through the portal, if your dogs don't immediately teleport to you, then you probably did it right.
You can walk anywhere in your world with your fishing rod, and when you cast it, it will summon your wolves. The only thing you can't do is you can't be in a dimension other than the overworld. Your wolves will not teleport across dimensions. I summoned a target to test it on, and so now when I cast the fishing rod, here's all my wolves, and when I punch him, there they go. Look at them, look at them.